All right, welcome back to Technique WOD. Today we're doing part 4 of a 6-part series on the clean. The first video in the series is the overview video, and that basically tells you exactly what to do on the clean. Today on video 4, we're going over the transition. We're going to talk about what to do, what not to do, and then again come back to what exactly to do to have a perfect transition for your clean. So I'm Doug Larson with the Barbell Shrugged podcast. This is Alex Macklin. He's one of our faction and Barbell Shrugged weightlifting coaches. First, Alex is going to just show us a good starting position, a good first pull, and then a good transition. So in slow motion here, go ahead and get into a good starting position. And again, we have a separate video on the starting position and a separate video on the first pull. So good starting position there, good first pull. So that's the end of the first pull right here, and then the transition is basically from the end of the first pull to the start of the second pull. Basically just where he does that little shift where his knees go under the bar and he gets to a vertical back, okay? So again, if he goes back to the end of the first pull, you can see right here, he's covered, his shoulders are still in front of the bar, arms are straight, he's very heel heavy, neutral spine, shoulders well above the hips. That's a good end of his first pull. The bar is well above the knee, and then for a good transition again, he's gonna push his knees under the bar, staying very heel heavy, and he gets all the way to that vertical back. All right, so again, Alex is at the very end of his first pull, just getting ready to start the transition. He's very heel heavy here, so I want you to pay attention to his foot position and to his knees. As he starts the transition, he's gonna push his knees underneath the bar, getting to a vertical back, and he stayed very heel heavy. All his weight is on the back of his heels, and his knees have been pushed under the bar, okay? If you come around to the front, and he does that one more time, so go ahead and start back at the top of your first pull. Okay, as he pushes his knees forward, he keeps his knees out. Go ahead and do it right one time. There you go, so that's the correct way to do it with the knees. And if he does it bad one time, this time when his knees are gonna come together as he pushes his knees forward, this is what you don't wanna do. See how his knees got closer together and his feet, the arch of his foot collapsed in the process? You don't wanna do that. As you transition, you want your knees to stay out. So one more time, do it correctly. So pushes his knees under, knees stay out in the process. Perfect, just like that. Actually, one more time, come back to the side. One other little thing that people do wrong with their foot position is he starts very heel heavy at the top of his first pull. So he's bent over at the hip, he's covered at the top of his first pull, excuse me. He's very heel heavy. What he wants to do, again, is keep his heels down and then shift his knees under the bar. Go and do it correctly once. So that's correctly, and then what he doesn't want to do, if he starts over, what he doesn't want to do is shift the weight onto his toes and have his heels come off the ground as he pushes his knees under. So he doesn't want to do this, pushes his knees under, gets toe heavy, and now he's very forward and he's going to lose the weight out in front of him. So one more time, go ahead and do it correctly just so I can see the difference one more time. So very heel heavy to start with, pushes his knees under, and again stays very heel heavy. Now here he's in the power position. You can see the bar is touching him on his upper thigh. Okay, that's key. The higher the bar touches, basically the better leverage you have, which kind of leads us into our next point. Some people like to do a hip clean where they're kind of rowing the weight into themselves. As they're transitioning, they're bending their elbows just a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a style thing. A lot of people love it. Some people don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but if you do like it, here's how to do it. So if he, again, starts at the top of his first pull with straight arms, as he pushes his knees under, he's going to row the weight into him. And now this time, instead of the bar hitting him here, it's hitting him a few inches higher. The higher it hits on your hips, the better leverage you most likely have. So this is going to give you very good leverage on the barbell, hitting right about the same spot that the bar would hit if you were snatching. It just picks it up a few inches. So if you have these little bones right here, it's going to hit right below those little bones, basically right on your belt line if you're doing the hip clean. So again, one more time so they can see that. So here's the hip clean, push his knees under, rows the weight a little bit. See his elbows are back and he's pulling the bar into him. And then here's a regular transition with a straight arm. This is not a hip clean, and it hits just a little bit lower. So both have some application. People have set records with both different types of lifts. That's a personal preference, but that's how you do a hip clean. You row the weight into you and just get a slight elbow bend on your transition. All right, so one of the biggest things, especially with new lifters, is completely missing the transition altogether. They'll treat it like one very long pull as opposed to a first pull with a subtle transition and then a second pull. So if he totally misses his transition, usually what happens is there's no contact made with the upper thigh or the hips with the bar at all, and there's a bunch of space left, and you kind of just pull right past your hips altogether. So here's how to do it wrong. Basically, it goes right through. Try and do it really wrong. This guy's bad at doing things really wrong. There you go. Here, I'm excellent at doing.
You're excellent at doing.
I'm excellent at doing things wrong. Okay. So it would look like this if I was starting all the way down. I would just stand up and I would just pull straight up. Okay. Where I didn't stand and then shift. I just stood and then it just kind of kept going and I just picked it up just like that. So kind of like you do on a sumo deadlift high pull. If I was here and I would just stand and pull up. So maybe one reason why the sumo deadlift high pull screws some people up. Potentially some people like it, some people don't. Again, that's personal preference. But what you don't want to do is skip your transition. Once you get to the top of your first pull and you're bent over and your legs are almost straight, you're at that vertical shin with a slightly bent knee, then you're pushing your knees under the bar to get better leverage, putting yourself in that power position, and then you can extend, shrug, pull yourself under the bar, catch it on your shoulders. Okay? So again, one more time, here's how to do it correctly. There you go, beautiful. So again, he pushed his knees under the bar, he's at a vertical back. One more thing is he kept his shoulders back and down. A lot of people will transition and they will lose their shoulders forward like this, okay? So go and do it right one more time. Pay attention to his shoulders. Shoulders are back, and then as he transitions, they stay back, they stay down. Go ahead and do it incorrectly where your shoulders are kind of rolled forward. Oftentimes they're rolled forward because they started forward. It might be like that, and then they stay forward like that. Then if he completes the pull, his shoulders are forward. Now he's internally rotated with a very destabilized shoulder. Even though you're in an unloaded position, that's still very rough on your shoulders. So you don't want to do that. You want to do it correctly. One more time, just like this. He's at the top of the first pull. Transitions, shoulders stay back. Now he's in a very stable shoulder position where he can extend his legs and he can shrug his shoulders, and he's in a stable position. All right, so again, that's a lot of little details about what not to do on a very small portion of the overall lift. Again, this is video 4 of a 6-part series, so if you want to see a more comprehensive view of what exactly to do, and not necessarily what not to do, but what actually to do for the whole entire lift, go back to video 1 of this series. It's called the Clean Overview video, and you can get a more comprehensive view on the entire lift as opposed to just this one little segment. So to do that, you can go to barbellshrugged.com, click on Technique WOD. All the videos are in the video library there. We'll see you for part 5 next time.